Yes, it's true. 50 Cent was my intern. I know that sounds crazy, but let's rewind. I want to tell you the story. So in my mid-20s, I managed a group called Run-D.M.C. You might be familiar with Run-D.M.C. And I actually shared a desk with the DJ Jam Master Jay. Like, I sat here, Jay sat here in this tiny little office of a company that I had called Alphabet City. And one day Jay came in and he said, look, I'm working with this kid who's a boxer, this kid Curtis, and he wants to get some business experience. And at that time, I was writing jingles for professional sports teams. And he said, look, this kid who wants to be a rapper, he's a boxer now, he wants some business experience. He'd like to barter some business experience to help you write some of these jingles. And I was like, okay. So Curtis came in, skinny kid, probably like 18 at the time, and for 18 months, he was my intern. And we had a promotional van that we worked, that we operated for the New York Knicks. I didn't have a car at the time, so I needed a car. So I made a deal with the Knicks. Like, if I got a van, would they pay for the lease payments on the van if I wrapped it with the New York Knicks logo and the New York Liberty logo on each side, and I would like hand out promotional keychains and stuff out of this Knicks van. And they were like, okay. And that was my car. Like, I picked dates up in the Knicks van. So 50 would work out of the Knicks van and hand out like keychains at this events and stuff. You know, like it was crazy, and pay for the rent in the office. And then we come back and we would write these jingles and little, you know, songs or theme songs for professional sports teams. 50 had a partner named K-San. I was like, Jay, man, K-San is unbelievable. Like, I know you got Curtis, but like, I gotta sign K-San. And he's like, what are you talking about? So Jay signed 50, I signed K-San, and obviously Curtis went on to become 50 Cent.
Figure out how to get access to whatever world you're trying to get started in. And a lot of times the easiest way to break in is by working for free as an intern. I did that a couple times when I was trying to get into the music business. The first time was when I was working with Jam Master Jay. I was getting frustrated that I was stuck out in Jay's studio in Queens for most of the time and wasn't really getting a taste of the larger scene. So Jay did me a solid. He was friends with a guy named Jesse Itzler, who was active in the music industry. Jesse had written a bunch of songs for artists like Tone Loc, as well as the New York Knicks theme song, Go New York Go. Through that, he'd gotten a job to run the Knicks street team. After Jay introduced us, Jesse made me an offer. If I'd help him with the Knicks street team, he'd show me the ropes in the music business. Sounded like a good deal. So every day I linked up with Jesse and spent a few hours a day driving around New York in a Knicks van, handing out team wristbands and keychains. Then we'd head back to Jesse's studio, and I'd help with whatever songs we were working on. Maybe help him find a sample or figure out how to voice a chorus. My only payment was free Knicks gear, but it was a great education for a kid who was trying to figure out how songwriting and the music business worked. I'd been an unofficial intern for Jesse Itzler, who was just hustling for himself, and I learned some valuable information.
Fast forward about 15 years later, I started a private jet company called Marquis Jet, and things are blowing up in a great way. And every day I get a manifest of the people that are flying on our planes that day. And I see as a guest on one of the planes, 50 is a guest. And now at this time, he'd become one of the biggest rap stars in the world. And so I wrote a note. I asked the pilot to write a note that said, 50, you're never gonna believe this. It's Jesse from the Jingle Company. You're on one of my airplanes with a bottle of champagne. And the next day, he wrote in all of his contracts that he would only fly on Marquis Jet, our company, which is just an amazing lesson in loyalty, an amazing lesson in like, you know, be nice to everybody, intern to CEO, janitor to billionaire, it doesn't matter. Be nice to everybody, which you don't need me to tell you, but you never know who the next 50 Cent's gonna be. You never know in your 20s who those people that you're friends with are gonna become have positions of power in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. And that's not the reason why, you know, you're nice to somebody, but you just never know. And your network is everybody. Your network is everybody that comes in, is a potential CEO, is a potential, you know, boss, is a potential best-selling recording artist. So that's my story of 50. And how about this, about 2 years ago, I bumped into 50 on an airplane. We were both flying on Delta to Florida, and he was sitting Tuesday, and I'm like, he's never gonna remember me, man. We worked in like 1993, literally. He'll never remember me. And I was trying to like DM him on Instagram, but I'm like, I don't think he follows me on Instagram. So he wasn't checking he didn't respond back. We land, he gets off, I grab my bags, I go and I tap him, and he's like, Jess? And I'm like, 50? And he bear hugged me, and it was like we never left that tiny office with that one desk 20 something years before. And this is a lesson on loyalty. It's a lesson about believing in the people around you, giving people an opportunity, and staying connected, throughout the journey. And, regardless of where you are, what stage you are of your own personal journey, those steps are really important. I hope you guys like that. Comment below and let me know what was the best part of the story, or the part that resonated the most with you. And be sure to like and subscribe to this channel, because we'll be posting new stories, more stories around business, endurance, whatever. And I got a lot of them every Monday.